Thank you very much. Most of you I have met before. Just to give you a quick snippet of who Engage and Grow are. I'm the Master Licensee of Engage and Grow. We're a global organisation that works to engage the workforce. I'm the Master Licensee here in WA and I have 10 coaches. My favourite coach is my daughter here, who's here to support as well. So what my goal is today, where's the clicker here? My goal is to, as our lovely lady over there said, work out what we have to do to get people to love the business like it's their own. And the questions that people have asked in what they'd like to know are what I'm going to endeavour to cover today. So my goal is I will be covering the first 4 because that's where we sit. And my goal for you today is to learn something that you can take back into the workplace and that you can actually implement, that will make a difference, that will have a change. So I'm hoping that that's what we will all enjoy and take away. So the first thing I want to do is actually identify, well, what is engagement? What is an engaged workforce? What is a disengaged workforce? What does it mean? So I just want to get the definition clear first. So if we're referring to a highly engaged team, what we're referring to here is people that do more than expected. And we all know people like that. They do more than expected. They stay later on. They're not 5 o'clock on the dot running out the door. They're loving what they do. They'll always go that extra level. And we all know what they're like. A disengaged person is someone who just does what's expected. They're the ones that just do what they're paid to do and not a cent more of time or energy do they invest in their job. So these are people that are just there to pick up their paycheck, 5 o'clock comes, whoop, they're out the door. So we all know. And you've probably got in your mind a picture of somebody like that. Has everyone got a picture of somebody like that? Exactly. So they do, oh, well, I'm getting my pay, I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and that's it, nothing else. So then we've got this last group here. These are highly disengaged people. These are people who are actually doing less than expected, a lot less than expected. These are people who are actually self-sabotaging the organisations, who are negative, who are constantly blaming other people, who lie. How many people have worked with people that lie? There's lots. A few heads nodding there. They say they've come to work at this time and they haven't. You know, I have a client recently that had the person forgot that there was a GPS in the car and they're on the phone saying, yeah, I'm at the job, yeah. They're not at the job. They're at home. So that's someone who's highly disengaged. So this is when we talk about the different levels, this is what we're talking about. So is everyone clear on the different definitions? So when we're looking at saying, you know, what about your team? I'd like everyone to think about what percentage of your team do you think are highly disengaged? 0 to 5, 2 here, 5% to 30%, 30% to 60%, or 60 to 100. Well, hopefully we're not going to have any down here. So think about that, and your time starts now. Good. I'm happy about that. We've got most up here, so that's really good. So when we look at these numbers, what can we actually do about them? Now, the top question that everybody asked is, how can we measure disengagement? How do we know if our team is disengaged? What is the cost of disengagement? They were the 2 top questions that people asked. So what I'm wanting to look at now is saying, all right, well, if we're in Australia, what are the current stats in Australia? What are the statistics? That word is such a twister. So if we're looking at the Australian workforce, we've got 20% of the Australian workforce are highly disengaged. Now this is not a good thing at the moment, and most of us, you know, we know people that are sitting there. Then we've got 56% are disengaged, and we've got up here, it's covering it, sorry, that's 24% are highly disengaged. So this is our country right now, which is not good. But this is the facts. I didn't make them up. This is our workforce now. So what we want to do is look at our team. So we've got clear on what disengagement is. We've looked at the country. Well, let's look at our own backyard. Let's look at what we can do with our own organisation. So in your handouts, I've got this formula here. So I'm wanting to play with some of these numbers here. So has everyone got the handout? Yep. So if we start off with how many people are actually in your organisation, How many in your organisation now? Or you could say your team, but we'll look at how many people are in your organisation. So I've got the example here of 100 people. So say we've got an organisation with 100 people, and then we're saying, what's the percentage of disengagement of those 100 people? Now, I'm just basing it on the Australian number, which is 20%, but you picked your number a minute ago, so if yours is 5%, 4%, 2%, 10%, use your number that you picked. So what percentage of your team do you feel are highly disengaged? So then that gives us a head count. We know we've got one person disengaged, or we might have 5 people highly disengaged. So how many people have you got that are highly disengaged in your team at the moment? Has everyone got a figure? Yep. So now we're looking at saying, if your average salary, now I've just picked a number out of here, I've said average salary is 80K. This is per annum. So if we've got the average salary is 80,000 per annum, Deloitte tells us the cost of disengagement is 34% of their wages. Now we all know what it costs to re-employ someone or to get rid of somebody. It costs a lot of money in time and hiring and training and mentoring and stress. So then that gives us our cost of disengagement per employee. So we've got here, if the average person is $80,000 per annum, the cost of disengagement of each person is just over 27K. So if we've got 20 employees that we had up here that were disengaged, or if you've got 5 employees or 3 or 20 or 30, whatever, we've got 20 employees highly disengaged, and the cost is 27,000, which depends on what your average wage is. What's that cost for this organisation? Just over $500,000. It's a lot of money. And people think it's all fluffy working on engagement. Well, it's not fluffy when it hits the bottom line. It's not fluffy at all. So when we're talking about big organisations, Deloitte says here that companies that are heart-focused are 8 times more successful. 8 times. That's huge. So, you know, what does that actually mean, 8 times more successful? Okay, what it means is they've got 10% higher customer loyalty. So if you've got fully engaged, really heart-focused people, they're obviously going to be more engaged with their customers and their clients. They're going to go the extra mile. They're going to remember their name. They're going to remember what football team they like. They're going to remember that his wife just had a baby. They're going to remember all the little things if they're heart-focused. And what happens? You go, oh, he remembered that my wife just had a baby. That's so cool. What a nice guy. He really cares. And that's what it's all about. So what happens is we get 10% higher customer loyalty when people are heart-focused in what they're doing. We also have higher productivity because they care. They care about what they're doing. They want to make a difference in whatever role or whatever passion they're doing. They actually, you know, have that care factor. They want to make sure that they have good quality work. They want to make sure what they're doing is of worth. And we also have higher sales. Because people who are happy, people who are engaged in the heart, people who love what they do, you want to buy off them. Who wants to buy from a grumpy person? You feel like taking your money elsewhere when someone's really grumpy. It's not a good thing. I had a meeting once with a client and I said to one of his team members, I said, what's the most annoying part of your day? And he said, when customers come in the door, they really annoy me. Now, do you think he's going to be really, really good at sales? When the minute someone comes in the door, he's like, oh, God, not another customer. Oh, I've just dropped my pen. Oh, they're annoying. That's not someone who's heart-focused. That's not someone who's going to have 20% higher sales. So, this is all great, but what does it mean? What does it mean in the real sense of things? What does it mean for you guys in your workplace? How can you actually implement this? It's all sounding very hearty and fluffy and wonderful, but what does it mean in the real world? So in the real world, we want to look at, okay, we've got these people working for us. What's the science behind motivating them? How do we actually motivate them? And that was, I think, the second or third question. How do we motivate people? How do we get them engaged? Like, what is it? What's this magic key of motivating this group of people that just think that the world owes them a living? You know, how do we get them to actually move quicker, faster? What do? Well, we look at what's behind motivating people. How do people get motivated? Okay, there's a few things. Now, I showed this slide about 6 months ago, so I'm not sure how many remember it, but I really think it's so powerful that people need to see it as much as possible so that it actually becomes part of how you run your business. So these are the 7 key neurological motivators of all of us, of being a human being. This is what motivates us. So how many of these have we got implemented in our workplace? Now, I'm obviously promoting positive ones, not negative ones, not punishment and pain. So, you know, we can get involved in pleasure. We were just talking with Sandy about, you know, what fun things, you know, people do to you know, have fun with the people they work with and have, you know, golf days and things like this. Self-direction, self-improvement, transcending purpose, all of that can be brought into the workplace. So the other things we want to look at is what are our basic core human needs? What do we need as being part of a human being? Love, variety, growth, certainty, significance, contribution, all of them can be in the workplace. The people I work with, I actually truly love. I love them. I love them with all my heart. They're my work family. A lady who runs my office is my work wife. I love her. She's adorable and she's part of my family. So we can actually have significance. We can help people with personal growth. We can give them certainty, contribution. So many businesses that we work with actually do contribution with some kind of philanthropic associations. All of that we can have embedded as part of our workplace. And these are the companies that are 8 times more successful. That's what they're doing. They're getting involved in these, which is what motivates people, the science behind what motivates them. So then the last one here that overlays it, how do we learn the quickest? And that's the thing. How do we get these people at work to learn quicker, move quicker, get quicker engaged, get through this training program quicker? We've got to get them out on the road quicker. Well, discussion, experience, and teaching others. Get people mentoring. Have great induction processes. Get people to pair up with people. Have sponsors. Have, you know, people who've been in an organisation for a long time sponsoring, you know, some new graduates and trainees. So this is what's behind the companies that are heart-focused. This is the secret to why they're so successful. So if we're looking at what it means to us, when we have a company that's engaged in the heart, so we've got a company that's 80, 90% fully engaged in the heart, what does it mean? It means they've got awesome leadership. That's leadership from every single person in the organisation, and that's leadership from the management, from the CEO all the way down. They also have a great culture. People love going to work. They absolutely love it. You know, I have people on their day off dropping into work to say hi. It's like, it's your day off, go home, go away. It's a great culture. They want to be there. They want to get with the people that they like. Really good skill set. So they're confident in what they're delivering, whatever it is they're delivering. So if we've got these 3 pillars in place, what happens is if we've got great leadership and culture, we've got loyalty. People will stay back longer. People will stay in the company through good and bad times. People will help people if it's not their role. They don't mind being told to clean the kitchen dishes or clean the toilet, even if it's not in their job description. They don't mind. They're loyal. Also, if we've got a great culture and awesome skill set, we've got productivity. Productivity is really high because they want to, because they've got the good culture. And lastly, if we've got great leadership and awesome skill set, we've got excellence in what they deliver. Is this making sense? So these are the things I'm talking about that are happening in organisations that are the ones that are leading. In this, we've got leadership. These are some of the things that are included so that you understand how it can be implemented. We've got visions and values, leadership development, recognition. As far as culture, this is a solutions-focused culture so that we're not a blame culture, so that we're not blaming everybody else and excuses and denial, so that we've got accountability, we've got a framework that people know they're being held accountable, people like being held accountable. so that they can achieve more. Open and honest communication. Have that trusted, open and honest communication. And with the skill set, having skills matrix, skills development, performance reviews, and feedback. People like feedback, positive and constructive feedback, because then they grow. And lastly, benchmarking with peers, benchmarking with industries, etc. So when we look at this, how many of these are actually heart-focused? Well, quite a lot of them. Most of them. So these are all the ones that are heart-focused. So with us working in these areas, what we're doing is we're increasing our chances of being more successful. So what I want to do is have a bit of fun with this. I think we've got about 10 minutes to go. Have a bit of fun with this, and I want these two last tables to focus on leadership, and then these 3 tables here to focus on culture, and these 2 tables here to focus on, or 3, isn't it? 3 to focus on skill set. And I just want for 2 minutes for you to just quickly brainstorm by yourself in your organisation all the things that you're doing around that. So these 3 tables here, we're doing leadership, and these 3 here, we're doing culture, and these 3 or 2, skill set. So just 2 minutes by yourself, brainstorm, what are you doing in your organisation for leadership, culture, or skill set? Because I want to share, I want everyone to share. So just 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes is up. Now what I want everyone to do it'll probably take maybe 4 or 5 minutes, just go around the table and share, because I'm going to ask for one spokesperson from each group. Share with the group what you're doing in that area. Because we're wanting to collaborate here. We're wanting to share the knowledge of the people in the room. So just take a couple of minutes. Hopefully everyone will get a chance to talk in the table. Just talk within yourselves and share what you've got in practice in your organisation around your area. So give everyone a chance to talk. Okay, let's finish up and hear what people have got to say. So culture, you 3 tables had culture. Who would like to give some feedback on what they're doing for culture? Okay, we're going to hear from some people here. Who would like to be the spokesperson for a table on culture? Oh, you were culture, you were leadership. Sorry, leadership. Who would like to be a spokesperson? That table was talking? Okay, who would like to share some things that you're doing around leadership? Well, this gentleman here, Mark, would you like to, was it Mark?
On leadership, I think we don't have any staff, so it's only the 2 of us, but I speak on previous experience when I ran a team, was the leader empowering their staff to mentor even junior staff, and that's how you sort of bring out the best in a future leader, and then a junior staffer then learning from a mentor and then learning about that experience and empowering them. So, yeah.
Great. Having a mentoring program. Yeah. Fantastic. Did anyone else have something? Someone else must have had some activities that they do and focus on leadership. There's a lot of room for improvement then. This gentleman here is giving me the eye.
We run a toolbox meeting once a month, engaging all our subcontractors. So they come down and put forward their opinions, and from our leadership, we can obviously push the company better with their understanding, and they get to grow in that as well. So that's how we're finding it.
Great. So regular toolbox meetings, and I think the key there is that you're contractors, because I see organisations that have the contractors and then the permanent people, and the contractors feel like they're a little bit of outsiders. So having those regular meetings with contractors, perfect. No? Okay, so culture, we had culture here. Who had culture? Who would like to share some things they do around culture? Would you like to? Thank you.
I think around the table, cultural things, sort of flexible hours, fun environment. So not a miserable place to go. So fun, flexible work hours, flexible ways of working, online, from home, and various different other places and things like that. And yeah, just culturally, just nice places to be.
Yep, great, fantastic. Okay, the last area here. Did anyone else have anything on culture? Anything else that they want? Any activities that they're doing, or anything they've got in place around culture they wanted to share? No. Okay. What about over here? Skill set. What have people got that they're proactively doing around improving the skill set of their team? Yep.
We've got a great crossover between culture and skills development because we have like a job satisfaction discussion, and that's very much a cultural thing. And every single one we've done has identified some new skills that someone wants to get or brush up on. So we're going out there to say, how satisfied are you in your job? What can we do better? Rah, rah, rah. What's right, what's wrong? And then the skills development comes out of that,
Yep.
Which has been really good.
Yep. Love it. Absolutely true. Did everyone hear that? Did everyone hear that? Yep. A skills satisfaction survey. I love it. Absolutely. Is that customer satisfaction survey? Is that right?
It's a job satisfaction.
Job satisfaction. Yep. Love it.
Which will result in someone going and doing a plan skills thing as a side.
Yep.
And another side is me coming here because I want more mentoring.
Yep. Brilliant. Fantastic. Great. So hopefully people have had a few discussions and picked up some ideas and realised actually what is behind having a fully engaged workforce, and that it's not that hard. It's not that hard if we understand where it comes from, if we understand what motivates people, if we understand what makes people happy, then we just need to look at what we can do around these different areas. And it's something that is possible for everyone here today. And it doesn't matter what generation they are, we can get them engaged and loving what they do so that they love the organisation just as it's your own. And I think a couple of months ago I mentioned that, I had to take some time off work for a year and had my organisation run without me. So if you've got an organisation that you'd like to have run without you, it's about getting them to be fully engaged and loving what they do so that you can go off for a year, or that if someone is sick you can have time off, or you can have a holiday, and trust that the business will be looked after just as well as you would look after it. I hope you've learnt something. Thank you very much. Ta.